I think it just touched my heart. I had never heard anything like it. I'd never seen anything like it. It broke my heart in lots of ways. I felt like, why are you making this film? What is the reason? What are you trying to tell?
I wanted you to be jolted that this film is expect the unexpected. Like, I'm trying to tell you that there are certain turns that are going to happen and introduce the characters very quick and get to the bottom of it. Get to the bottom of the ego conflict. And this is a film about movies, and I had to credit the people who influenced the most in making this. Their list is endless, and I listed them alphabetically.
Who do you think is the strongest influence on this film?
Beyond a point, it became a checklist. Have you finished that? Have you finished it? How much more is there? So with him, it's such a delight, man. I can just do an entire episode of like what it is to like the joy a director has directing Dulquer, because you have somebody who's supremely talented, so sincere, who's ready to do anything for the character. Very lucky to have the kind of producers and the actors. See, I don't think it's possible to make another film like Kantha.
Hi Selva, hi Bhagyashri.
Hi.
I am meeting you just after the release of Kantha. A film that has, I think, evoked mixed responses, but a film that I'll definitely stand by for a lot of reasons, I think, which over the course of the next hour, we will discuss. I see Selva's eyebrows instantly going up. What did you expect?
It's 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah. It's Sudhir with 60 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. But this we will call post-cut clarity.
Okay.
Oh.
Among the many features of this film I really enjoyed were, I could tell this was a product of love in many spaces. The performances, obviously, I think they've come in for great appreciation. The writing, I could tell there are so many layers to it. I think Dulquer was mentioning in the pre-release conversation that you narrated the first half for 6 hours or something.
Yes, I can still.
So anyway, thank you so much, both of you, for joining me in this conversation. Where shall we begin? We shall begin with, I know several drafts were written for this film, correct? So this must have been quite painful for you to figure out what to retain, what not to retain, was it?
It's not painful, it's a fun process. Interestingly, the film that you're seeing is very close to the first draft I wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the...
How many more did you do after the first one?
So there were about 16, 17. Yeah. So what... I mean, structure, the story is actually, I think, meant for a mini-series. Could easily become a mini-series for the depths of the characters, right? And that's what you yearn for. What I've given you is a good crust of it, hoping you would crave for the depth and maybe figure it out yourself, which is a very interesting way to tell stories. You don't necessarily need to tell everything. That doesn't make for an interesting watch. But for the primary reason that there are only 3 characters and it's the lives of these 3 people, it just made much more sense for a feature.
Bhagyashri, what was the first thing you felt very strongly about this film, this story, when it came by you?
I don't know. I think it just touched my heart. I had never heard anything like it. I'd never seen anything like it. It broke my heart in lots of ways, which I don't want to give spoilers for. But yeah, I'm somebody who believes in love big time. And for a story like this, I felt like, why are you making this film? What is the reason? What are you trying to tell? What are you trying to convey to the audience? Because a lot of people who are hopeless romantics like me, or who believe in the world with blind eyes, who believe that everybody is good out there, why are you making a film about a character who is so grey? I didn't understand. But I think the more I, conversed with him, I understood that there is certain reality that of life that needs to be put out, and I think that's our film.
Yeah, in that sense, it's definitely a tragedy for sure, right? I mean, it does talk about. I think all of us started out there, being hopeless romantics, expecting. I mean,
I'm still there.
You still are there. Okay. I'm pretty sure Selva is not there. Me neither. I was there. Because the binary views of life are very comforting in a sense, right? Where you expect good people to remain good and bad people, you can just avoid them. You don't want them sort of spilling over into intersectional areas mainly. But what I thought was very beautiful was your character, Kumari, never came through as just a victim, right? And it could so easily have been that way, but it never came through like that. It didn't seem like she was at the mercy of these two men. It really felt, on some level, like you had the upper hand over both those men. And maybe either of you can touch upon these aspects as well.
She definitely had, in a power equation, in a quest for power and who's more powerful than the other, she was the key to holding that power. Where, like, who she trusted and who she was with eventually had the power over the other in a very graceful, beautiful way. She was a melody missing in both their lives, right? And they wanted her to sort of complete themselves, their quest. So in that sense, definitely she had more power than them.
It feels like a cycle almost, right? Because everybody begins in that almost, I mean, I hate to call it naive, especially when you're in that space yet. So I won't.
It's not naive. I will not agree. I'll meet you after 30 years and 50 years and tell you it wasn't naive.
Fair enough. No, where I was arriving at is initially, even if it begins in those spaces and you go into other spaces, you realize that for survival, for example, if TKM began with the view that, hey, I'll be good to the world and the world will be good to me, and but he moves into other spaces, right? Once he gets applause, once he gets corrupted on some level by fame, I guess. But I like that everybody eventually returns there anyway, right? It feels like, I mean, you just mentioned it very beautifully. You said she was the missing melody in their lives. And it really, on some level, feels like the further you go away for survival, for growth, whatever, you see that nothing is as peaceful as things were when you were there initially.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't quite mean it as naive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so for both of them to realize that it's as simple as that. They, in fact, meet each other's eyes when they realize that. Right? Like the truth about Kumari.
Time, yeah.
So it is very simple, like how she's saying. She keeps it simple. So Kumari keeps it simple, and that's why I think it's not a grand realization that they had finally, right? Even the realization, even the denouement was a very simple fact of life that everything can be solved with a conversation.
Yet we make it so complex.
And in many cases, it feels like to win over, say, manipulative people or vindictive people or egotistical people, there's no point meeting them in their playground, right? In areas that they are very comfortable and strong in, that you just must refuse to play their game sometimes.
Yeah. Refusal to play again. Yeah, well said.
Yeah. So in that sense, was Kumari very close to you? Because it certainly seems that way.
Yeah, definitely. She was. I think I was casted because you wanted to.
No, I would often say to the team when we were looking that we're not casting a face, we're casting a personality. Because to play innocence, to act innocence, to fake innocence, I don't know how that works. But if someone's really innocent, that's why I was able to not get into the details, not spell it out. I think with a performer like her, you can read between the lines. And that makes it, I think, much more interesting for the audience, that they are able, instead of keeping a scene, oh, she is this innocent, I was able to work it within the scenes, in the way she behaves, in the way she is, that you can see this is her inherent quality.
Since we're talking about Kumari, maybe I can ask you this. There is the hint that she's gone through a lot before she came here. She probably has had a near-death experience, and she's gone through her suffering before she came here, right? And yet, what do you suppose was within her that was retained? Because when typically people go through suffering, they do change. They do become somebody else, right? Suffering pollutes you also on some level. It changes you. It ruins your innocence. But it feels like nothing will be able to do that to this woman.
I think it's a choice, right? Like, I think we all as humans go through things. All of us. There's nobody who can escape from it. It's a choice you make at the end of it. Do I want to go on the other road, or do I want to stay where I am? And I think she chose to stay where she is because, dude, life's going to keep throwing things, you know. Does that mean you change? I think it might be lessons for sure. You might learn from it. But I don't think that's for changing you. It's for telling you that you stay who you are. It's for telling you that who you are is enough. And I think the world needed more of her, is what I feel. Because what you're saying, like, it's a cycle. Like, you know, let's say it changes you. And the end of it, you seek who you were before.
Correct.
Then what's the point of that entire cycle if you change yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, the world can be, however, but I believe in goodness. I believe in the fact that I think it's that purity is what makes us all who we are and the humans that we are.
And I think these aspects of Kumari also added to how resplendent she looked in this film, for sure. I mean, I hadn't. I saw Kingdom, yes, I did. But to see you in this film felt like being in the presence of somebody actually from that era, somebody who retained those facets of being in that era, being that person, but not just from the outside, but in the inside as well. Yeah,
she's an old soul, so I think that also.
Yeah. What I mean, right off the bat, the film introduces you to Noir visuals, right? You're instantly thrown into that mood, and I thought maybe we can just broadly talk about the pleasures of that genre for you as a filmmaker.
It's. I think for any cinema lover, Noir holds a special place, and so does that for me. And for Tamil cinema, there was a very brief period. You know, the American noir influencing the Tamil noir.
Which era though?
1950s, like Vinay S. Balachander's films.
Like Andanal.
Yeah. Oriravu. So that was a very beautiful space for me. That there was a global movement happening, and we had our own reflection of that. Right? And now we have neo-noir, but nothing like the original, the OG noir. And to set the film in 50s, the choices were kind of, it just came to be apparent. You're talking about ego, and so came the ghost and the horror subject and a noir treatment to it. So somewhere like when the story, one of the first things that came to me was this. That it starts like this, and there is an interval, a midpoint like this, and the denouement is like this. So the structure was, as soon as I got the idea and the world and the characters, I got the structure, and I was so happy to play to it. You know, like who doesn't? I wanted to play to the tropes. This is the beginning, and like play to the tropes like a director like this.
Let's start with somebody dying.
Yeah, like somebody dying in this manner, the shadows, the shoe, and then I started playing with it. So yeah, but yes, the classic noir, the Tamil filmmaker of Vinay S. Balachandar and Billy Wilder definitely have a huge influence.
Yeah, I was processing what you said. I was also processing what you said slightly earlier. You spoke about, what I really enjoyed about what you said was typically a simplistic view of life comes from ignorance, typically, I'm saying. But what I enjoyed about what you said about Kumari is that her simplicity or her purity isn't necessarily coming from a place of lack of exposure to the world. You're saying it's a conscious choice. And for me, I think when I said naivete earlier, and I'm still there, I think I was referring to people who are very pure because they have not been exposed to the world at all, right? But I like what you're saying. And I think there's a great lesson to be taken from there. You can still be exposed to suffering and horror and corruption and all of that and still throw a boundary there and stop yourself from being in those spaces. You instantly drop us into this world because we were talking about Noir, right? Once that initial beginning is over and you throw in the titles, you throw us into this world and you're not necessarily, leading us into this world slowly with slow reveals of people and characters. Why did you think that was the way to go?
I wanted you to be jolted that this film is like, expect the unexpected. Like, I'm trying to tell you that there are certain turns that are going to happen and you'll have to trust me with it. And I think the start of it, like how the film starts, was something, again, like what all of us enjoyed, that it should start like this, about a film that's getting made and introduce the characters very quick and get to the bottom of it, get to the bottom of the ego conflict and set the parameters for the conflict and start the story. So this triangular power play, I think would come in quick, but it also, I think it's a very satisfying feeling to like get into the story in the fastest way, right?
Yeah.
I think the most minimal world building shots, and then we get straight into the story. Also, I had a lot to say.
Of course.
So I had to be economical, and I thought, okay,
time for establishing people here.
Yeah, like the first 20 minutes is something that I can watch again and again and again. Because I think it's bold and it's so quick. You're thrown into like, this is what the story is.
What I thought was very unusual about our conversation before we started recording this and everything. I could tell that you were genuinely in love with the film that you made.
I am in love with it.
We're all.
All
of us are. You point out one person who's not. That's the beauty of this film. Like, I don't know, I think it's the soul of the film that made us all fall into it so deeply, because I've never seen anybody fall in love with the film so much, and all of us as a group. It's like we only keep talking about the film so much.
Of course, we wanted the best for it and to be shared with the world where they share the same excitement with it. And I think that's what took so much time.
No, I think that character also came through in the film, I think. I know it's not so tangible. And yet you could tell that everybody who's part of it has been in love with it for a while while making this. Including the actors and everybody else who's part of it.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Noir genre, and black and white is such a key aspect of it.
Yes.
And there were so many gorgeous black and white visuals in this film. And it's just such a relief sometimes from all the color to just see people exist in blacks and whites. And I really enjoyed a lot of those portions as well. Do you both have any favorite images from the film?
So many. Let her start.
I think my black and white goes off to Thuerithin Bodumattumdan. The first time you see her within the film. Yeah, that's my most favorite.
That's very special. Like, you see both of them as actors in that, and it's a very simple scene. And it also has the connect to the overall themes and everything. But like, why I didn't take so much time in the world building is one black and white frame on my actors, both of them. You're immediately thrown into that world, right? Like the black and white frame of her and him, I get transported and just a little bit of like a strain of a string is enough.
Yeah,
I am in that.
And very interestingly, both of them do seem to belong to that time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was telling Dulquer the same thing as well. I said, I see you in Mahanati, I see you in all these period films. And something about you, and I think Rana was mentioning that as well. He said something. Yeah, he seems straight out of that era. No, he instantly.
Actually, I had the long version of that shot, the whole shot of it, and DQ would be like, "Machan, cut it." I'd be like, "I can look at it, man. it's really good." Like, no, don't. So yeah, it's very mesmerizing to like see them perform play just the black and white and see them perform.
I would have seen a whole film of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like shots of them in the car with the headlights on by the beach and all of that, right? I mean, in many ways, right? For you, this, I remember seeing you say this in the conversation that this is your big launch in a way, Kantha specifically. And for Kumari too, she goes through something very similar in the film within the film, right? The more you think about these angles, right, it feels so meta in a way. The whole film. I mean, you've got a director in the film, and you're directing a director. There's an actor, a star who's playing, a star who's beginning to be jaded by the effects of being one. You've got a new actress playing a new actress. Like, make sense of that for me.
No, I'm very, very lucky to get my actors. But I think only thing is DQ is exactly the opposite of TK.
Yeah.
He's complete opposite. Like, he's not constrained by his image. He never even thinks about it. For him, it's just storytelling and performance. But it's so beautiful to see him transform into the character. Where he would say, like, at sometimes, like when we're staging and I would say, this is the pace. He's like, no, TK walks faster. So...
what are you saying? I wrote it.
But I would say, no, so they're going to follow you. And he'd be like, let them try. So the fact that he could clearly distinct himself from who he really is, and I think that's the beauty of him, that he can keep the sanctity, that he is, like, he hasn't fallen trapped to his image at all. And he plays a character like this. So I would really enjoy that with him, that we were constructing somebody else that he was not. But with Kumari, it was very simple.
It was the truth of this.
I just cast the right person. I was very lucky that the looks and the inner core and also the spirit of like Kumari, like we used to wonder, like me and Ayya would also talk about her, like where is she finding all this from? She's very fierce with a lot of things, and in performance especially. And I had very little to do with, like, she would find the inner meanings and she would come and tell me she wouldn't do this. Can she? I think she would do this, and I'd be like, great, I'll take it.
Do you have an example?
So many. So you could actually tell me any scene and I can tell you how she prepares for that, because she's got like these notes and every word.
Bhagyashree, do you want to take over?
The first time when you see her, Ayya is asking for a promise, right? And he gives her a hand, promise. And they all told me, give him the hand, promise. What do you usually do? Give a promise.
Yeah.
I'm like,
both Ayya and her were like, no chance.
If I give my hand, then, morally it just doesn't feel right to me as Kumari. Like, I mean, I want to say yes, but knowing the story, I just didn't feel it was right morally. So I decided to just give it with my expression, and he figured it out what to do with his hand.
Yeah.
He just
it's
thought he was
an interesting moment, because I also wondered why he was buying it. He's immediately like, yeah, okay, fair enough, good enough. I'm like, dude, she didn't even touch your hand. Yeah.
So a lot of moments, like, I would have my actors like bring it from themselves, like, and I really like that more than what I had in my mind. What they're bringing was way more truer to the character.
Since we're talking about scenes and moments, I think you've got to talk about all the slapping you were doing.
Oh God.
I really wish DQ was
Yeah.
Because in the film, each time she flinches or each time she's not quite landing it, he won't put up with it. He's like, no, I want you to truly mean it and land it.
Yeah.
The reason, obviously behind the scenes, I was a little hesitant about doing the same, but I think he wanted that perfection. He wanted that.
Oh, you really went for it?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
We really.
He asked for it.
He asked for it, yeah. And he was ready to like go through that to get that performance out of him. And I really respect that, but I was really like hesitant about it. Yeah.
That must have been terrorizing.
Yeah. It's the first time I ever did it, so.
Yeah, and his face was
Yeah.
red for some time.
Yeah. Anyways, don't make me feel more bad about it.
No, really, because sometimes I know there is a lot of value to somebody who says, no, do this for the film, and I don't mind taking this pain for the film and everything. But taking pain, I think it's harder to inflict pain than take pain, right? At least it would be for me. If I were an actor and somebody was slapping me, I think that would be a bit more easier for me than to slap
Yeah,
somebody.
she was very hesitant.
I think I went to my vanity and cried for a little bit after
You did?
that. Yeah.
You did, okay.
I mean, just obviously, like,
Yeah.
I mean, why? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But he's that where he would, like with anything, with staging, with dialogues, he always likes to be made to believe.
Mm.
Like, why would I sit here? I would do that and we would change the staging. So because then it's very easy for him. He's not playing in his head that he is enacting or like he's making, like with everything he would ask the right questions. And you were asking about the slap moment. So yeah, he said, just do it, just go for it.
Right. There is this idea. There is this beautiful idea about why TKM likes Kumari, right? And it's not because she's pretty to look at. It has nothing to do with that. It just feels like she reminds him of something he once was. At least that's what came through to me. Necessarily, even if you didn't really spell these portions out.
I did. I think there are scenes that say it, but we didn't feel the need to say it. It's more satisfying for the audience to find this and.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Now, after the release, after a few days have passed since the release, do you still feel as strongly about some of these choices you made?
100%.
Yeah.
No, I put out what I believed was the best version because we had like everything explained, right? And then when you take out things that what happens with his performance sometimes makes you realize that you don't need to spell it out. Take that out. Then some of the editing choices make you believe that, wow, that just sprung out of nowhere. Music does that. So because I come from a documentary, I really like to collect as much as I can and go to the edit and find ways to like remove it. So in that place of like trying to find like what makes for the best, I think we arrived at something very sweet.
Why do you think Kumari, what do you think Kumari saw in him?
I think just a wounded child, to be very deep about it. Yeah. I think it's very easy to see a grown-ass man. Sorry.
No, absolutely not. Go for it.
Grown up, you wanted to say.
Grown up, yeah. It's very easy for a grown-up man. I mean, to see him in a way where, life has changed him. He's behaving like a jerk, and there's certain qualities society doesn't like about him, and the fame is taken over. But I think Kumari, as a pure heart, wanted to only see good in everybody, and that's how I know her. And when she saw him, obviously in the beginning there was hesitation as to what is he up to. Is he troubling my ayya? That was the first. But I think the more she got to know about him, the only thing she ended up realizing that he's a wounded child. And something in her, which every woman has, a motherly instinct.
Yeah, I was just going to ask whether it kicked off motherly instincts within her. Yeah.
I think every woman who's in love has that motherly instinct towards their partners, and I think that kicked in her where she wanted to be there and take care of him. That made her fall for him.
Did you have a hard time processing that she didn't necessarily mind being in this grey relationship with him, knowing fully well that he was involved with somebody else? Would that have ever created any confusion in Kumari's mind, do you think?
Right. I mean, we did have a lot of discussions where, I think we were not revealing that he's married and, stuff like that to her. But I think we ended up choosing this path. For me, I think I took it up in the sense that she was so much in love with him that nothing else mattered. And I think that was the simplest.
And it's very, in a sense, it's very logicless. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm smitten and To hell with the world.
Smitten is very different as
Yeah.
a word.
Yeah.
She was just blind in love, I would say. That nothing else mattered. Yeah.
Young.
Oh, to be young.
You think it's to do with being young?
No.
Or you think it's
No,
to
maybe
do
not.
with the
If she-
personality?
maybe a part of that. Maybe if, I don't know, if she were able to retain that character even after being sufficiently wounded for years on end, then that would be way more impressive.
Also, the first time she fell in love. That like say, like the first time you fall in love. What does that make you feel?
Do you think his success and all the fame that he has and all the people cheering for him had any part to play?
Not
Because you
at all.
certainly shoot certain moments where
You're just
he
telling
shows
dialogue.
off innocence.
You're just telling dialogues from a scene again. But yeah, no. So not the fame.
It's almost his first idea of a date to take her to one space where he is all powerful and look at all these people waiting for my arrival and all that, right? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
That's something Aya thought of her, and I don't think she ever looked at it that way. I mean, that's what I and Selvaya discussed, that she doesn't. I mean, nothing else mattered, right? When I say nothing else mattered, it's not the money, not the fame, not the power. It's just him. That's all she cared about. That's all I know.
And I guess she also felt seen in some ways by him.
I think she felt like she finally has somebody in her life.
Yeah.
I think because also the fact that she came from nowhere, she had nobody, she's an orphan, and Aya mattered a lot to her because he's her teacher now and also a father figure. At the same time, I think for a girl like her, she just wanted that some sort of a protection that she probably felt with him because he understood her, because he also came from nowhere. So I think the day she understood that he is also from nowhere is the day things became a little simpler.
Have you read this book called Les Miserables? The Victor Hugo book you've read?
Yeah.
Strangely, while you're talking about it, something about it reminds me of those dynamics there.
It is.
Because Jean Valjean, his daughter, who's this pure soul falling in love with somebody else he does not like at all.
Yeah.
It feels very, very simpler in that sense, leaving aside the whole film dynamics of.
It is. She has a line in the film also that she says, "Na enna romba paadukappa unarradhe avar tholla saayum bodula." So that sort of answers.
You take a lot of liberties with how you shoot the period portions as well. You don't necessarily process dance in the way that it must have existed back then.
Yeah.
You don't shoot those songs like it were then.
There are some songs that had tap dance, for example.
Yeah.
I took some liberties with the costumes.
With the camera movements for sure.
Oh, camera movements. But no, the song, I never showed you what it was in the film.
In the film, yeah.
So I went more for what Kumari was feeling at that point. I could have shown you, I could have done that, but I wanted to go more for like what Kumari was feeling.
The fact that she's just beginning to fall in love, and it was her perspective of the song, right?
Yeah, through the filming of it.
Were there choices you made because you felt like, nobody's going to watch footage like it was back then? That it would be too monotonous for people and it might be too...
No, we had so many scenes like that.
Yeah, okay.
We had so many scenes of film within film. But this one, it just felt nice to like have that song. Okay, so you like to show the filming of a song, but through modern equipments is a liberty that I took.
Yeah. In fact, on some level, I would be so happy to see all those films getting remade with the craft of today.
Yeah.
All of the good ones anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Bhagyashri, back then, right, a lot of the acting has now come to be thought of as overacting. Correct. And you certainly oscillate between saying those portions and then, for Kantha as well. So do you want to talk about that? What was easier for you? What was harder for you?
I think being Kumari was the easiest because I didn't have to think a lot. But obviously, like when it came to the within film portions, we did sit and think about, how we want to, what meter do we want to keep? Because the current generation looks at things differently. At the same time, the films back then, the way they acted back then, was a little different. We wanted to, I think, keep a balance of both. And I don't think we discussed it too much, but just went with the flow and realized that it's working.
What I liked was it could have so easily spilled into humor, right?
Right.
If you overdid a bit too much.
That was my fear, because I was like, Sevaya, if they laugh at me, no, it's going to be so embarrassing.
Yeah, because then you've got some serious portions as well in the film within the film that you're not supposed to be laughing at.
Yeah.
In fact, you're supposed to be doing the opposite. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a fine balance, and I think we were treading on that.
Because on some level, she feels, let me try to help you out here. It feels like she is helpless on some level. She goes to him and says, hey, why don't you understand that guy? She goes to him and says, why don't you understand this guy? But she's constantly playing this game, and it doesn't seem like she's doing it to great success.
She does, like she makes TKM come and speak with Ayya once. And yeah, so that's the one thing that she's trying to do is make them talk to each other. And they don't do that till a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, her ask is simple, but it also takes so much. And I think in real life also this happens, right? It's a very simple conversation to have for a conflict to be solved.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you want that conversation to be absolutely perfect
in
order for it to have the best resolution, and that's not going to happen 99 times out of 100.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I mean that when TKM, for example, changes his mind because you compel him to, and he goes to him and he has a small conversation, he's almost willing to reconcile with him. But the first sign of an insult he gets, it's over, right? So for them both to truly reconcile, they need to be extraordinarily careful with every single word that they utter to each other. It feels that way.
I think of it a little differently. I think you just have to not think, especially during that time.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were ever in that scenario, I would just not think and say everything that my heart is feeling. Because when you do that, I think the other person also gets to know that you're affected not because of the anger that's there within, but because of the love that's there within. I look at it that way.
No, I get it. It just feels like the kind of people that these two are.
Yeah.
They're going to have a tough time being that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on
that's
the
what
person.
She also comes to realize at that point that, okay, this is beyond repair. They're not going to talk it out so easily. She gets to know the truth at that point. She tried her best. And then there is, just trying to make them click and realizing that it's not is a part of her learning.
There's a lot in this film about vanity, right? In terms of what it must be like to watch yourself, what it must be like to watch people watch you.
Yes.
And mirrors obviously are, they're very strange objects inhabiting our world, I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like maybe if they weren't here, we would be better off.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it does feel like maybe we have no business knowing how we look except through the eyes of other people.
Exactly.
How do you process these ideas? And how important did you think this idea of mirrors were in this film?
It's quite obvious in the number of mirror shots.
I know. Yeah.
Like some days it would be like, mirror scene. So yes, the idea of art, cinema is to hold a mirror to the society. And about my protagonist, about TKM, how he falls for this trap. And we had this interesting device of using the mirror to visually show it and also make it a very integral part in the scene buildings. I think one of the scenes that people really love is the 4 steps that Ayya makes him take. That also leads to a mirror. So somewhere the trope of mirror was just found its way into this scripting. And the fact that they are in their makeup rooms, it really helped in the staging. Those huge mirrors helped in the staging also. But yes, a very conscious choice because of how, the idea of art's purpose, and that's something, I think more than anything, what I wanted to explore in the film is like why do we pursue art, right? And there is no one defining answer for it. But that is the central conflict between these two people. Is the story for an audience?
Yeah,
or
sure.
Is right, like or this the audience happen to listen to the story, right? What is the role between?
Do we do this for the applause, or do we do this for inner catharsis in a way?
Yes,
right.
That is a moral conflict between these two, right? Like,
what do you think?
So I think I'm trying to find my balance, and Kantha is the first step in that. That I could have gone completely artistic with this.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Right, but I wanted it to for everybody to, because people don't have time to think about what is the role of the art. I need to make them care about my interest in the storytelling, right? So I think for any storyteller, this idea of being able to reach a wide audience is very alluring, and I think it's very necessary also. Like, I've made a film in 5 lakhs, gone to film festivals, traveled, sold it to a network, and I realized that the more the merrier with people, right? If they can. So what does it take? It just means that you don't have time for my interest, and I have to make you care about it. So I have to say it in a way that you care about something that I say.
So does that pollute your expression then? This notion to this objective to cater to the widest group of people possible?
It does not. I feel like Kantha, I was very lucky to have the kind of producers and the actors. See, I don't think it's possible to make another film like Kantha. It's impossible for people to come together to make a film like this, because we all believed it is a film that can really bridge this gap between what is like independent voice to a mainstream audience, right? And I had the best of help with it.
I certainly think it's an original film, right? And God knows we need a lot more of them. So each film doesn't feel like an echo of the other.
Exactly. Right. So I got all the help, and I really feel like I'm learning. We're all learning with each step, like how, and I feel I'm an audience, right? Like, audience is not some entity. If I like it, I believe everybody will like it. And let me put it this way in the context of Kantha, that an artist needs to be a psychoanalyst. An actor, a writer, a director always needs to be dissecting emotions, thinking about what it takes. Why does a certain people feel this certain way? And that we're exploring in the display of art, right? And this is a film which is a psychoanalysis of the psychoanalysts, right? And now this I need to appeal to everybody. And I think for that I can do whatever, if it's world building, if it's grand music, if it's dance. There are so many ways to do that. But the core of it, which is that it needs to appeal to everybody, I think that is sacrosanct. And I find that almost divine. The moment the storyteller alienates themselves from the audience, when they think that they are above or beyond or whatever, that's the trap. That's what Ayya felt.
Where I have this grand personal idea and you all would be...
That's it.
Lucky to consume it.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. So I think I am in that. It's a very thin line, and I want to be on that thin line. I want to tell original stories, deep meaning, important stories, but I want to appeal to everybody.
Bhagyashri, what would you like to say on this? In terms of what kind of, as opposed to artists who like to express themselves and believe that the purest form of art is just to not really worry about how many people it reaches out to, and that it must only emerge from a personal space, as opposed to, of course, thinking about, okay, what do I do to make sure that the world comes and watches my art, consumes my art?
I mean...
in a way, TKM versus Ayya, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like if you fall in love with something, the audience that's watching you will also fall in love with something. Like, simplest example is, if I weren't in love with Kumari the way I am, I don't think the audience would have been in love with her that much. The amount of love I showed her, the amount of effort, from the smallest of details, which is a star on her head, to the biggest of details, I've put in that much effort and that much love and care towards this character. And I think that's what's coming back to me, which is beautiful. So I look at it that way, that, of course, this is just the beginning of my career.
Yes.
And maybe my perspective will change later on. But right now it's at this, that I give my heart out, the heart is coming back to me.
Can I ask you this? Would you have done the same for any other character, or was there something especially unique about this woman that made you feel?
I mean, I'm a little biased to Kumari only because it's the first script that came to me ever as an actor. So little bias is there. But as a performer, I think any script that's coming, if the director makes me feel like you're very important for the film, like without you, the film doesn't go forward. You yourself want to get up and give so much. And he made me feel that way. And it's so rare. It's so rare.
Yeah, you are central to proceedings here, for sure. Yeah. Selva, I mean, all these characters have broad definitions of who they are, right? It's very clearly demarcated. You get a sense of, this is the purist. This is the guy who seeks applause, and this is the woman who's torn between both, and on all of this. But I wasn't sure if there was enough time in which to necessarily flesh out a lot of their dynamics within the scope of this film, individually, character-wise. How deep do they run? Is the film necessarily challenging them on all these counts consistently? What did you make of it?
You felt then there was a need for more?
Probably, yeah.
That's a good sign, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, 6-hour narration for a first half, everything was thought through. But ultimately for consumption, when it comes, if I'm leaving you with a feeling of wanting more, but there is also this thing that if it feels underdeveloped, then I've failed. If you feel like some of my characters are underdeveloped, then there is a problem. But as long as you feel you wanted more between TKM and Kumari, TKM and Ayya and Kumari, then I don't see it as a problem.
I think TKM and Kumari certainly.
More.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easy for me to say it, of course. But yeah, I would have definitely liked to explore some of the vulnerabilities that seem to exist between them both.
Yeah.
I mean, if he really feels like she reminds him of who he was, I don't think there is enough time in which to...
I had a whole song which I took to make you feel that, like Kanmanini. So I used lyrics for it. So what happened was there are very two important scenes that I had to take out.
Okay.
Which exactly what you're talking about, vulnerability. So I realized that I need something. So I brought in a song and I wrote the lyrics, and I was able to make those lines communicate the essence of those two scenes. Because I think in those Kanmanini song, the lines just clearly expose the vulnerability and what she means to him. Yeah, so...
Understood.
Yeah, sometimes this is something that I'm learning about screenwriting. I love this because it is getting the pieces together. You cannot have it all. But with the little that you have, if I'm able to make you yearn for more without this feeling of unclear or underdeveloped, that is the maximum, I think. Because I do have this tendency to be gravitated towards grand mosaic stories, like from Veerappan to this. So I realized that this is going to be a thing for me where I, like in screenwriting, I'll have to give you the tip of the iceberg and just trust me that this whole thing is thought through for you to have this.
Maybe this would be a good point in which to discuss the genre hopping that this film does. Since we are talking about difficult writing choices. Yeah.
Yes. So
for a while you feel like it's a love story. For a while with a healthy dose of commentary on ego and what performances mean to these people.
It still is. Till the very end it is that.
Yeah.
In the middle, it is...
but then your very opening moment and then where the film goes in the second half, it structurally becomes something
else.
Yeah.
So it was a grand gamble, right? And I think, personally, I love films that surprise me. and I'm sure everybody loves it as long as it's convincing. Like, you want films to surprise you. You're in it, having bought the ticket, all of that, so the film can surprise you. If you already know where it's going and you're with it, it's one sort of satisfaction. But to be ahead and to like make you convince and to like guide you comfortably, that was the challenge. And we were very conscious of it, that it's going to take some time for them to adapt, because like new characters are popping.
Yeah. Can I ask you this? I mean, why did you not think that, let's just bring Rana right off the bat into this film and then we'll explore everything through his eyes, which would be the conventional template, of course.
So yeah, I wrote a screenplay like that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Yeah, of course, you did 15, 16 words.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the good thing that I feel, that I've tried everything to realize that there is something very special in the first idea that came, which was like sliced down like two halves, but with spiritually it's the same film. And it holds together. Like how you said, I think you summed it up really well, that it's a love story with commentary on ego. That's what it stays till the very end. And so the genre shift really, I think it was always like a very enchanting choice for us. That what if this happens? And then like it moves into suspense.
Yeah, there's an entirely different energy about things once.
All the background characters who are like, now they come in front.
True.
It takes time, but if you give it that time, I think you will enjoy the payoff. And then like suddenly seeing all of these people in a new lens, and then going back to that love story with its commentary, it was a good turn, as I felt, like something for me to like keep it exciting, and also because it came in the natural flow of like what happens between these three. In that, this came like, I don't think anything was forced for me to like arrive at it to turn genre. It just was like, it could have been the pre-climax if it was like in a linear draft, that was the pre-climax.
Okay.
But like smack in the middle, it made it this, which is a new experience. Jigardanda has done it before.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and a few other films.
Yeah.
So
and the first time you expose yourself to Jigardanda, it is a bit unsettling for sure.
For me, the first time I was like, wait a minute.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Right? So I was...
Because you're tuned into this
like, I'm
drama
really enjoying
of
this. What are you doing now?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So same thing I knew we would face, but it all depends on the payoff.
But the aftertaste of that film was so good. I remember enjoying several rewatches of the same film. Once I knew what the structure was. And now I'm not really binding the film to a structure in my mind. Jigatanda.
Exactly.
Once I was revisiting it again and again, knowing exactly where it was
also
headed,
took me the second, third watch to like...
Then it started working for me. Then I'm like, oh, this was always going to be the point of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did you, Bhagyashri, think of Rana's performance in this film?
I think it's nothing like I've seen before. So
For sure.
Yeah, for sure was unexpected. But I really enjoyed it, because I feel like as actors you need to like step out of your comfort zone and try different things, and this is him doing that. So of course it's gonna take time for the audience to be like, Rana is doing this, but I think he's done a fab job. Like there are so many tweets where I'm like, I enjoyed Rana much more than all of us, and I'm like, really? Wow, okay. So I think it's great. I think different audiences are relating to it.
I certainly was swayed into thinking something very similar.
Yeah.
I think it took me a few moments to begin to buy him.
Right.
Because the first time he comes in with all this energy that seems very different from what you've been exposed to in the film until then. And then it takes you a while, but once you buy him, and you buy him as this guy. As this...
Also, like, without him, it would have been a very serious situation.
Brooding.
If you don't, like, if you think about it, it would have been a very sad situation without him being in it. He kind of shoulders the situation to a point where we are also enjoying being in this
It's very funny
moment.
for sure.
Yeah.
What did you think was very, as an actor, what did you think was very difficult about what he did?
I think this comedy thing that he's
The tone, like he shouldered the entire tonal
yeah,
shift. No?
Yeah.
even like the body language and just everything. That's not him. Like I know him as a friend, and I've seen his past films, and it's nothing like him. So I think he's literally like come out of that and become Phoenix. It's really commendable. Yeah.
And towards which towards the end of the film, there's this moment where Dulquer is supposed to deliver this tour de force, right? He's supposed to deliver this incredible performance with the woman on his lap and everything. Do you want to talk to me about directing what you're already describing in the film as an incredible performance, right? Because, I know Dulquer certainly was talking about it and he said it was, what does it mean for an actor to be told that, oh, now you're going to be delivering this?
And that was scene
a performance
after
for the
scene.
ages.
That is scene after scene, no, for him in this film. Like, he had, beyond a point, it became a checklist. Have you finished that? Have you finished that? Wow, how much more is there? So, with him, it's such a delight, man. I can just do an entire episode of like what it is to like the joy a director has directing Dulquer, because you have somebody who's supremely talented, so sincere, who's ready to do anything for the character. And so it's just an ask.
I think while he was going at it, you certainly seem to have an easier job. in that scene.
Yeah.
Assuming it was you, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
To not breathe.
Yeah.
But so with him, I think you give him the text and he'll deliver. Like there is no concoction of emotions that in whatever measure that he can't do. Like I got the front row seat to, like you tell him this leads to this leads to this. That's all. You can just sit back and see the man do it.
Understood. For you, this is almost a lesson about the pitfalls of fame and about the pitfalls of what can happen once you get all this applause and success and all this. What did you make of it? What did you process of it?
Yeah, I think this film not only has like one teaching, but like so many, so many. Like I'm like, okay, there's so much to take back.
I didn't need to know all of this in the first film.
Yeah. But yeah, about the fame part, like I know because I've worked with these wonderful people who've been in the industry for about 20 years now or more. They've told me so many incidents and so many situations. And I think, see, in life, like as humans, we're going to go ahead and life might change us, but to have like a few group of people who pull you back and be like, hey, that's not who you are, this is who you are. I think that matters, because nobody's perfect to like stay just the way they are.
True.
We all might wander around here and there. We're all imperfect, but to have like a few people who pull you back and be like, no, that's not you. That's what matters.
And you've already assigned that job to people?
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting how it rang very relevant for today's age, especially. Right? Back then, you're thinking about these stars and actors seeking that validation from people. Today, given how social media is functioning, it feels like validation is sought from strangers by pretty much everyone on some level. Right? It's about the addiction of it.
Yeah.
Right? Do you really have something to say to the world, or are you saying that so you can get validation?
And the film is talking about extremes where, like how extreme of anything, like with Ayya, it's the extreme of virtue. What an extreme of something like even a virtue, being virtuous can lead to.
I love that.
And with TKM, this is what the world wants you to be, right? Like look at him, live a life where everybody says, look at him. Now, an excess of that too is a problem. So
an excess of purity is not a problem at all.
She just happened. So it's the story of the girl who lied once for love.
Yeah. The smile at the end. Such a memorable image. I'm trying very hard to not spill into other details. But
it's good. It's good if it's cryptic like this.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like they'll buy the tickets and go watch the film.
Come and watch it.
What were the conversations about in terms of landing that perfect smile there?
With her?
Yeah.
You go.
No, you go. You go.
Both of you go. One after other.
No, I think it was her.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she knew the what it means, like what it was, and I think we just had to like rehearse the fall a few times.
Yeah, because it was his chair attached to me and all that.
But like the intensity of it, the meaning of it, you can feel that she's a hopeless romantic, right? Already, so it's very easy. So I mean, there's a lot of meaning in it between the two, and there was once I felt it was like super tragic as an image when I had the both of them in a frame, and I felt very disturbed. And but yeah, like it is a very disturbing, in a very emotionally, like what happens. So the smile is a great way for us to bookend this relationship.
And did you necessarily have to process all of that information while you're responding to it, or did you approach it from a very I've narrowed down this expression and this will do it, and I don't necessarily need to be processing all that information in my head?
No, I mean, when I got to know that smile has to be there,
Yeah.
I asked him why.
Fair enough. Fair question.
And he just told me the love is, I think the love was that deep that you forgive before you.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, didn't want anybody to feel guilty. Probably forgive. That smile was...
That's what she says, no? Like, sirchte sonara muttappa. So she's got that thing about
forgiveness
smile.
even before something has been done to you. That's a new level of nobility.
No, I mean, it's done to her, and
yeah.
I think she loves that person that deeply that let go. It's okay.
Understand.
I'm
And then on some level, it felt like a happy end. I know it's a bizarre thing to say about what happens to her, but it felt almost like this is the best version of you right now. Your film hasn't yet come out, and we don't know what experiences you'll be subjected to once the film comes out, and all of that. And you're already in this wonderful, beautiful space internally. And maybe after this, everything is just going to go down. That's the cynic in me, obviously. But did you process this necessarily as a tragedy in any way?
The film? The entire film?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Shakespearean tragedy, yes.
Yeah. TKM for sure.
Yes. But what a guy. He gets up.
Yeah, when he first narrated the story to me, so he came to Bombay and he's like narrating the story and just tells me first half. I'm like, arey yaar, macha, please tell me. He's not telling me, and the entire time, like he took me for like brunch outside. I'm like lost walking on the road, like almost about to get hit by a car. He's pulling me on the side. Like he has a picture of me where I'm just sitting like lost. Where I'm like, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Okay, let's not tell.
Yeah.
He's pretty much telling you the same thing.
Yeah, so he was like...
No, but I enjoyed that finishing touch for sure, with respect to what happens to TKM.
Yeah.
That really worked for me. And I like twisted ends like
My
that.
God, what a guy. TKM is like...
Pure corruption.
What did you like the most?
Oh, interview.
What about the whole film?
Like the most? Like what was your favorite scene probably out of the entire film? Which you related with the most?
Related, I'm not really sure.
Okay, fair enough as an audience.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of... I felt like I could see TKM with all his vices, with all his complexity, the need for nurturing on some level, I guess. The feeling of being let down by your teacher, somebody who you hoped would see your humanity with all its flaws. And I felt like I got all those portions and I could really understand the vulnerabilities within him. And then I think towards the end, there's a space where I began processing Ayya as the villain in a in a strange way. And it certainly began seeming like that. Ayya with all his noble thoughts about art and everything. And I'm like, yeah, you have such great ideas about art, but you can't see the flaws in a man that you raised. What's the need to hold him to such extremes and destroy him? Some of the punishment definitely seems very vindictive, very extreme for sure. Yeah. I think one of my most favorite moments was that. I would have hated for him to do to himself what he was planning to at the end, and I was like, yeah, okay, this works. this works, and it made me think of Amadeus as well.
Yeah, huge influence.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, subconsciously, I guess. Not like I took notes from Amadeus, but
of course. Yeah.
But when I was working on Kantha, I could see like how certain things about Amadeus kept coming to me.
Because TKM is definitely a superficial artist.
No, but he's so good at his craft. He's so honest to his craft. What they differ, like it's not like the craft, he's a con man. Like he has the sincerity to the craft. He went and hit himself in the mirror. Right, when Ayya challenges.
Doesn't mind getting slapped multiple times and all of this.
Yeah, like he loves his craft. It's the outcome. I will do so well that you bloody applaud, so I get fed.
Yeah, but he's also, tell me this, he's also doing things, performing in such a way as to elicit applause. Right, he's guilty of overdoing things. He's not necessarily following Ayya's instructions for sure. So being a director, would you respect that?
An actor.
Yeah, I mean, TKM the way he is, I'm saying. But would you still respect that craft?
That's a revenge plan, right? Like for what Ayya did to him. Like he's not doing that to every director.
You don't think he would?
No, he wouldn't. He would just do his job and leave. But here he had a point to make to Ayya.
So with someone else, you're saying he wouldn't have minded being subtle.
Like if we believed that at that point, this is what is required for the audience to really get what I want.
Exactly. So
he cared for the audience.
He's not so much just a tool, but he also sees himself as a co-creator.
He has this belief that this has ultimately art is for the audience.
Yeah.
Right? And he's very sure about that. If there are no audience, what is the point of creation? Art is for the audience. And for that, he'll do anything. Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
Just what you said, yeah.
Exactly that?
Yeah.
Selva, you're referencing multiple filmmakers at the end.
Yes.
I think there's a thank you card, and I remember spotting a few names, including Stanley Kubrick's name. I'm asking you nothing in particular, go for it.
Kubrick?
Yeah.
Anybody.
These filmmakers, these influences, the strongest influences, why did you feel the need for a thank you card to these filmmakers necessarily after this film?
I'm such a fan, and I think that reflects in my art of what... And this is a film about movies, and I had to credit the people who influenced the most in making this. The list is endless, actually endless. Like I could just... But I had to select just a few. Like I thought, okay, just the 5 most. And I listed them alphabetically.
Who do you think is the strongest influence on this film?
I think Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he has a huge influence in the way I write. I'm fearless with writing because of him.
Which aspects exactly?
Like the genre shift. I will not be conservative or... I think with writing, I feel like limitless, and that is from PTA. Like he is writing, he'll do anything and he'll make you believe, like a Magnolia. And Somewhere There Will Be Blood is a huge influence on on Kantha. Kubrick, because he is like the ultimate benchmark with respect to filmmaking. And so somewhere Ayya is...
I think I was talking to a therapist told me that this film reminded her a lot of The Shining.
Yeah, so definitely the film within film, somewhere I was like, if it's The Shining. Like anything, like say how you think, what would have Jesus done, right, for a believer? For me, it's whenever I feel stuck, I'm like, what would Kubrick have done?
I mean, if you're able to come up with answers to that question. Then that's very impressive.
And of course, like,
Yeah.
for how much I love emotions, Balu Mahendra, Bala sir. Bala is my... I mean, I owe a lot to that man.
Bhagyashree, do you also feel like what would Meryl Streep have done in this
Oh,
portion, in this performance?
Wow, what a name.
Who are your favorite filmmakers? Since we're talking about influences and, I mean, filmmakers, actors, go for it.
Right. I mean, see, like growing up, I was never introduced to cinema like as much as all these people around me were. And I come from Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, Aurangabad. I'm born there. No connection to cinema whatsoever. The only connection I had was my father, who loved watching films. And I would sit beside him as soon as I'm done playing and just to spend time with him. So I think that was a way of spending time together and watch films. And he would like watching Hindi films. So I think growing up, like never had an exposure to cinema as much, or acting for that matter. But now that I'm here, I mean, definitely one person that struck by me in my childhood was Madhubala. For some reason, because probably of her life story or the way she was as a personality, there was something about her I felt like, which is very beautiful. So it struck by me, yeah.
I mean, you talk about watching a lot of films with your father, right?
Yeah.
Even if the objective was to spend time with him, I'm sure there would have been moments where you were buying what you were saying, where you were truly... do you remember any film specifically that symbolized that period for you?
Right. Have you seen this Hindi film called Anand of Rajesh Khanna?
Right.
That's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, I mean, a lot of people I tell that to, they're like, huh? How is that your favorite film? I'm like, oh my God.
I like how you're returning to classics, keeping very much in tune with your role.
Yeah, but I think I'm much more inclined towards the classics compared to, because of which he calls me old soul.
What joys do you think they had that you probably are not really getting out of?
Funnily speaking, I was just recently, I think a week back, speaking to an actor who worked, I think about 20 years back and 30 years back. And she's saying that we had a joy, we were rolling. And I'm like, why, ma'am, we are not? She's like, we didn't have social media. And it was a very interesting perspective to listen to, but because she was like, I didn't hear what anybody was saying about me. I was just doing my own thing, and it took me to places. And that really struck me because, the more I hear people, the more it changes my perspective towards things. Of course, it affects you. You're a human. But she said, if you stop listening and just do you, you might think of things very differently, which is very beautiful. I think that was like a blessing for them. Also, I mean, we have our own pros and cons, but that's one of the blessings.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be signing off social media necessarily, right?
Keep
I
a
don't
balance.
think the people who manage you will be too happy with it. But thank you very much for this conversation.
So much. It was nice.
Can I ask you as a parting question, what your chief takeaway would be from being part of Kantha? I know there will be dozens and dozens, but since you have a flight to catch, we'll stick with it.
Use that.
I can't believe it. Like, I'm just thinking, is it actually done, the film? Like, it is. We put it out. So, chief takeaway is my actors. The joy I had in seeing them, like, become...
I think everyone would definitely agree this is a movie full of great performances.
Yeah.
I don't think there would be disagreements with that for sure.
I think I would just look back with fondness of how my actors just was so good. And we got front row seats.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
No, really. Like, I think that's the best part. You?
Mine was like, I think, more of a learning, like I want to do films that inspire me. Like, I know this is my first film that I signed, and I know it's just the beginning, and I will do a lot more, but I will always look back to this film that began my journey. I will always be proud of this film. And what else matters than being proud of your work?
Yes, and how many people are going to get a first film like this for sure?
Yeah, it's a blessing. Yeah. I think I've been blessed. And see, I feel like I can go ahead and earn crores of money and fame and power, but the feeling of I'm proud of this, Because when I die, people will look back to this.
I think if you're ever getting carried away, you told me that I have people around me to keep me in check.
Yeah.
I think watching this film will do it too.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
And I wish the very best for this film.
Thank you.
And we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.